Okay, today we'll see how we can work with user-defined functions. We have seen some of the user-defined functions like date function, or then we can use the string and all other functions. But how we can use the user-defined functions here? So for this use case, I'm just showing some of the examples here, some of the schemas and everything I have implemented here. I am taking these are the three files. Let me just take a new order. This is the one XML file I'm taking. I'm just taking on purchase order example. On purchase order example. In this one, let's say if this customer is ordering this one item. Customer is ordering one item. The customer details will be like this. It will be having shipping address, and then it has the customer name, and items, some item, and then some quantity will be there. And each item, how many is the quantity? For each quantity, what is the price? That information will be available here. Now, after we calculate everything, this is the end-to-end scenario. After calculating the price based on the item, we have to get based on item. And once the price gets calculated, what is the shipping cost? Based on the region, how we can get the region? Based on the customer address, we can get the region. Based on the country information, we can able to pull out the shipping cost details. Basically, this is one customer have the item details, and based on the item, we'll pull it out this XML file. We just do this kind of XML lookup. In this XML lookup, based on the item ID, we'll do the lookups in the shipping price book, and we'll get the corresponding price, and that price will be multiplied with this quantity. Then I'll get total, and based on the country, and then again I will be looking into the shipping cost XML, and then I'll be calculating the shipping cost. So this shipping cost will be vary depends upon the regions. You can see that multiple regions are there. So this one. So first let me calculate how we can calculate the price. So for this one, I just take some different XML. If you see I'll just try to match the price item ID, and this item ID should be available either of this one. Here it is showing number. Let me just change it to here. Let me replace these values to here. I'm just making XML file ready. I think only this one. I don't need a total price. I will calculate this one. So, and the same thing, even I am just removing from the schema also, because based on the XML schema, I am going to create the XML profile. So I wanted to update even that one also. If you are not good at this one, it's okay. I'll just comment in this one. I don't want the total price element should be available, because this is the thing I'll calculate it later. And then one more thing is the items. Where is the items available? This for item number, I have made it as a string. That's the only thing I just need to do. Earlier it was integer. I just wanted to make it the string. That's the only two changes I done it. Okay, let's create the process. Go for this demo folder. Create a new process, new component. Purchase order. Then we'll see the get price. Okay, first let's put this one. I think we already have this SFTP one. Let me just start this SFTP physical server. I'll try to pull the file from this SFTP server. Let me place this SFTP files everywhere here. Where is we have the files? Let me just open one more file. Go for local D. Open in your window. Then I wanted to pull these three files. I'm just putting all the files. And the shipping cost on this total 3. I am moving all these folders into a folder called Boomi in. Boomi in. So let me delete other things here. Now let me go ahead and first thing is I wanted to read a file because customers is a file main file, because from that file only it will be having all the details. And let me open this customer file. This is new order file. So first I will try to read this XML file. Because this XML file will be having all the details like customer name and then items and then all this information. So first thing is based on first I will try to pull out the item name. First I'll read this file. After reading this file, I'll just pull out this particular file, and after pulling out this value, then with this value I wanted to do lookups in this file. So let's see how we can do it. There might see this is a what similar to the what we can call it as a joining. Joins will use a table. Let's say you have two tables. One is a parent table, another one is a child table. And if all your data is available in a database table, if you wanted to pull out both the information, what you can do, you will simply write a SQL statement that contains a joins. In this, using this join statement, you can club the two tables. But here, in some cases, right, we may have to get the required data from multiple applications, or in this case files. In that case, we cannot directly write any kind of a joining here. So we have to use the decision shapes to each and everything. We need to verify it. Let's see how we can do this one. First thing is I wanted to read a file. Let's configure the SFTP and then try to get a file. This is a SFTP connection. I wanted to get the SFTP connection. Okay, let's see what is there in this one. Let's edit it, whether all the details are correct or not. Yes, localhost, port number 22, this is the correct one. Let's put this as a local. SFTP connection. Just rename it here. Let's go here. Let's verify what is there. Yes, I wanted to read a file from this in directory, because up to the data it says slash. I wanted to read a file from this directory. And what is the file name I wanted to read it? Even if you want, we can all without changing all these details, even we can modify all these values from the parameters tab. Let's go with the parameters. When you specify the parameters, those values will be overridden by the file filter and the directory information that is specified in the connection and operation. Okay, the file filter, what I am trying to look it out here is, I wanted to read what I have selected a long file. I wanted to get this XML file. I want to get this XML. Let's open this XML file with Notepad and copy the full file path. Let's go with the file path and let's remove this. So this is a file filter. I want to read it, and then I wanted to specify the directory information also. So directory information, from this directory I want to read all these details. So up to this data, it was a root directory, so I am just removing this one and I wanted to put this slash. From the up to slash is nothing but will point to data, and then I wanted to read the file from the Boomi underscore in directory. because as part of SFTP configuration, we already specified what is the root. Okay, and then click on OK. Let's see whether we are able to read that file or not. Click on save and then click on run. Click on run test. So whatever the previous steps we have done, we will be using the same thing. We already use how to use the data process split option. Yes, we will be using the data process split option here. Yes, you can see it's a localhost, port number, and this is the directory, and this is the XML file that it is. Then you can just open this XML file. Okay, now I have a multiple items here. And for each item, as of now in one document, we are getting all these XML files. Now, if I wanted to do a lookups, right, what I need to do, I have to get this value. How can I get this value? And then with this value, I have to look up the price XML file. So before reading this value, so first I have to split the documents. If I don't split the document, what will I, if I directly give an item, right, what are the values you'll get? You'll get, by default, always you'll get the flat string. Let me show you the flat string. First thing is I wanted to get the, go for anything, message step, something. I'll just remove this letter once we are able to execute this value for this one. Okay, here, while we getting a value, first thing is we need to have a profile. Without profile, we cannot able to pull this value. So what is the profile we need to have? Since it's XML data, we need to have the XML profile. So let's open the XSD for creating the profile. This is the, and what is the root element here is the order. Let's see where is the order is there. Order. And for order, actually the element will be the shipping address and then item. Okay, let's go ahead and the pattern should be customer name and then ship to address and then items. Then you can put customer name, ship to address, then items. Then we can put it here. It won't give any validation error. The reason is we have specified not to mention any sequence. If you see this, all are mentioning all. If you are good at XSD, you will get to know. Means whatever the elements we mentioned under the root element called order, what are the elements we are specifying, we are just mentioned only all, nothing but it should be available but in any manner, no sequence. If you just put the sequence, right, similarly this one here, means first order it should be immediately customer, then only ship to address, then items. If any one of the order got missed out, then it was a validation error. So that part we won't give it because it's all specified all. It means each and everything we can able to, or else we can directly put this one. I'm just even updating the scheme also. So I don't want to make it everything because here. Okay, now I am just using this XSD full file path. Based on this XSD, I wanted to create an XML file, XML profile. Now let's go with parameters. Message step, add parameters, go for profile element because I wanted to retrieve the what is the value I'm coming, what is the value we are getting when we are trying to pull out the item number. Let's see, select the profile element, and select the XML profile. Since this is an XML profile, I wanted to select XML here. I don't have an XML profile with this schema, so I'm just creating the XML profile new. So instead of I can create it manually, but I don't want to create it manually. Let me go with import statement now. So here I have to sample XML file and sample file and a sample schema. We already seen what's the difference between sample file and sample schema. While creating the XML profile, if I select XML profile, what is the difference? If I select XML schema, this difference we already seen here. Let's click on the XML schema. So as I told you, if XML schema is available, always go with XML schema. Yes, we have XML schema is available, so we are just going with XML schema for creating this one. So, and then I need to select the root element. What is the root element in the XML file? You can see the order is the root element. Yes, let me select the root element from here. Click on next. Yes, the schema. has been created each and everything. You can see customer name and then ship to address and then items also is set to unbounded. Unbounded in the sense item can be repeated any number of times in the XML file. Okay, then click on save. Ready, please. Click on this save and close. Then I wanted to get the item number. So I have to put this as a placeholder. Without placeholder, I cannot able to see the what data is coming over there. So click on run test. Without using the data process split, if I directly take this one, what happens? I am just showing here. Just go here. I am able to see the output of the message in the next activity input. So that's the reason I just selected it. But if you see how many values we have, two item numbers we have. But do we getting the two item numbers here? No. But here, to get this value, to get this memory value at second item number, is there any way to get out that value? Yes, as of now we don't have any other configuration to get that value. So that is the reason instead of I'm directly putting here, what I'm reading is wherever you have multiple items here, multiple items. It might be any item. In later case, it will be like multiple orders or multiple items. Any element is repeating. If you want to retrieve any one of the element, then you should be using the data process split. So keep these things. Now I am using the data process split. Data process split. Yes, I wanted to specify the criteria. Why I am using the data process. I wanted to split the documents. What is the document I wanted to split it? I wanted to split the document of type and XML profile. So let's select the profile and which, because we selected the profile type XML and we need to select and which profile format we need to select it. Yes, this is XML profile I want. So what is the split element you wanted to split it? What are the elements you wanted to split it? Always for the split element, you select the repeating element always. If you select the non-repeating element, there will be no changes. No action will be data processing will be performed. Just select the items. Let's click on OK. Let's click on this one and no, there will be no impacts here. I wanted to show you how many documents are coming. If you want, we can for each and every step you can label it. You can label it because that will be in real time. We need to use a label. Label will give us what the functionality this particular step is doing. So instead of each and everything, you get into the configuration and checking it what this particular step is doing. You can just mention the label. Maybe for the data process, you can just mention that split the items, or maybe for each item you can just mention some descriptive manner. Okay, now we are using until the data process, we are getting only one source data. That's the customer order information, and then after that we are applying the, if you select a data process, what is the steps we are doing it? We are doing this step called data split of type and XML. So let's see how many documents will be coming after here. Go for shape source document. How many documents are coming? Two documents are coming. Let's see what is the content of each document. Because as I told you in the data process configuration, we have to split only the items, no other things. So entire each and everything except the item, everything will be copied as usual. Only the items will be split in here. Under items, you can see only one item class here. Next thing is get into the next document. You can see the another item called item memory and then this one. So this time we got this one. So if you just open and see it now, let's go here because this is the current data actually we are getting it. The current data actually we are getting up to the message. Since we have configured the message step with the uh, item number, so the current data will be overwritten and whatever you generated in the message step, that will be the message step output will be passed as a current data for the next activities. What is the next activity here? Stop. For the stop, you can see the current data will be changing here. You can see first is the flood screen and next in memory. Oh yes, this time we got the second index also. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 items or 100 items, you'll get all the items values now. Means we have to use the data process split option to get the repeated values, repeated element values. Yes, now, yes, I do have the, now I can able to get it. I wanted to store this value in a, let's say I wanted to store this in a one property. Okay, let's create a one property here. We already used the dynamic process property. This time I wanted to use the process component property. Okay, then let's go here. So the reason why we the earlier right earlier there is no process property component. There is no component called process property component. Earlier we have only one on the set property. Let me just click on save and close. On the set property, you can just see only process property are available. Earlier there is no dynamic process property. So the problem with this process property is not this one earlier version. Earlier version is similar to this dynamic process property. Whatever the earlier feature they have earlier feature, that time the property name is process property, and that process property after a new release they have renamed this process property to dynamic process property, and then the new feature is included as a process property. What is the problem with the dynamic process property is, while I'm defining it here, I have to give my name. What is the property name I wanted to store? In which property name I wanted to store my data? I can give the property name anything, but this is the value where I'm storing it. But wherever you want to retrieve that value, you see process properties are very similar to the variables in your other programming language. While you define a value, while storing a value in a variable, you need to put the same variable name while retrieving also. It means if variable property names are case sensitive. By mistake, if you are giving in case a different name, if you're giving a different name, then what happens? Your value will not be get retrieved. Let's see here. Let's see. Let me show you this one. I wanted to store item ID here. Okay. For this item ID, what I am storing it here is dynamic process profile component. From this profile component, I am selecting it here. Okay, this is the item number I am selecting it. Whatever we are doing in a message step, the same thing we are doing here. I am setting here for each document. After that, I am trying to, instead of I am selecting the profile here, what I can do, I can directly take the dynamic process property here. Because already stored in the set property, I want to retrieve it. Instead of the small d, what I am doing, I am putting capital D. Let's see whether value will be retrieved or not. Earlier, these property names are case sensitive. If you just go to this property documentation, you can see that this Delgumi process property or dynamic process properties are case sensitive. You can see here, go for set process property. You can just see getting the parameter for position 1. What is the position parameter it is setting? This is the under orders. items and then item number they are setting it. What is the item number you are getting? This is the value they are getting it. And next thing is executing for second document. Similar, this time we got the memory. And let's, I'm trying to retrieve the same value over here. Are we able to retrieve any value? You can see the 0. The reason is here, we are trying to retrieve a value, but value we got null value. Because we variable names are case sensitive. What is the value we given here? Item capital I small d. But if while retrieving value, what I given here is a item capital I capital D I given instead of small d. It means both variable names are different. Both variable names are different. See, because as part of your interface in a real time, you may be define plenty of process variables, dynamic process properties, and then you will be using so many times you'll be retrieving it. But each and every time you have to make sure you have to remember, you have to copy paste each and everything exactly the variable name. By mistake, if you just given somewhere here, the variable name will not be retrieved. This is the problem with the dynamic process property. So because of that, they wanted to make more user friendly. So they have given us a component name called process property that we just created here. So what is the advantage over the process property component now? Okay, let's click on the plus. I wanted to put an item ID here. If you want to put any allowable values, yes, you can put these values. I want to take everything as a string. Okay. Wherever we need, we keep on update these variables. Okay, as of now, I wanted to store my variable item ID information into item ID information. This particular item information I want to store in a variable called process property. Instead of I select the dynamic process property, I can go for process property component. So this way, this time I no need to type each and every time while setting or retrieving. I no need to type. I can drop down. I can see list of property names. I can directly select the property name. I can assign the value. So this way it will be more user friendly as well as it won't be having any case sensitive issues, because we are not each and everything, we are not typing the property names. We are selecting from drop down. As soon as you are adding one process property name, let's say I wanted to calculate total price. And put this as a number type. You can see here. It's an everything we can directly select from drop down. So this way it will be more user friendly and we won't do any mistakes. This is the history about the what's different between dynamic process property and process property. But functionality wise, there is no difference. Functionality wise, there is no difference. This is the just naming difference. But every time if you wanted to put dynamic process property, you can it's very quickly. You can define whatever name you can give ahead. If you have process property in your Boomi account, have multiple profile components, multiple components. So selecting each component will take some time to load each and everything. That's the only thing headache, and otherwise it will be process property component will be more friendly, more user friendly. It's very easy to use it. Only thing is because of the if your Boomi account has multiple components, it will take some time to load it, because as of now here we have only one folder. In real time we'll be having around 50 folders, 100 folders, each folder having so many components. For loading all these details and showing all the component names here, it will take some lot of time. Because after that, when you click on search button, depends on the component you selected, you have to filter all your components based on the component type. So that's the reason it will take some time. Now we have directly selected. This time there will be no case sensitive issues. Go for the process property. Let's run it now. Let's run it. This time you can see without any case sensitive, you will be able to see the data. So I hope you are aware now what is process property and what is dynamic process property, and there is no functional wise difference. Okay, so let me go ahead with the actual process implementation. Let me write this as a okay. In this case now I have read file and I splitted it and then I am getting item ID, and based on this item ID what I wanted to do now, I wanted to look up this file again. I wanted to look up this file. So in order to look up this file, what I need to do, first I need to read this file. What is this file name? I want to read this file. Get and then select assembly, because we will be overriding all these configuration file name and the parameter values from here. We will have this file server. This file server. As we can see. But if you observe now, because of we are in the process of multiple documents. For each document, this file has been read, and we can see the same items here. Okay. And this time also same file is read here. Okay, let it read multiple times, no problem. Now I wanted to look up here. So how can I look up here? And if you see this one, whatever the current data that was coming here, this all order information, is being overwrite with the price information, because this current data been replaced because of this connector. So let me store, if I required any the order data, I wanted to store my order information. So let me store the complete order information, maybe for the later purpose. Let me create one more variable called order data. For this order data, what is the data I wanted to select? Instead of storing order data here, maybe we can store it there. So maybe if we required any order data, I think item information. You can select this one. While pasting, click on left click and then paste it. Here you can just select the. And I wanted to store current data. Whatever the file data is available, I wanted to store all this information in the variable. This is only just if I want to retrieve this value later point. If I want to retrieve all this data later point of time, then only it will be stored. Similarly, again we have the price book have the repeating elements. It means I have to use the split document. I have an XML file. As of now, I don't have any XML profiles available. So I wanted to create an XML profile based on the schema again. I do have a schema here. Let's create the price book. This is the one. Next. So what is the root element we need to select? Root element will be the price book. Click on 7 plus, and you can see this price book price item is a repeating element. How can you say repeating element? Max occurrence is unbounded. Now for each I'll be getting the each document have this information. First time this price item, next time I'll be having this one and this one. So I wanted to compare. I already stored whatever the item number we are getting from the order data that already stored in a variable. I wanted to compare this variable data, this process property data with this profile element data. Where can I get this data? I can get this data in profile element. Let me just check the profile element here. So how can I check this condition? We do have a step called decision here. First thing is what I need to search here. You can put anything, either profile element or because I wanted to compare two arguments. You can put any of the argument as first one. This is so not this one. As in this here, I wanted to check the item ID, and then if it is equal to profile component, process property component. What is our item ID is this. If both are equal to if both are equal, then I wanted to get the price. Otherwise, this means we can't get the price. Okay, we'll just create one more thing called price. I'll be storing this information, but what is the data now? We'll get it here. We'll get the price book data. Let's see whether we are able to get this information or not. Because if you see here, this first data process, ordered data process, is already splitting the one document into two items. The same two documents is been passing through the SFTP connector and all the further documents. So because and again we have the price item tag is there, and this price item tag what it is doing, it is again splitting it. Again splitting is how many documents will split it, because three items are there, three price items, and it will split the three items for each document. Means totally it will get it, six documents will get it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now we can just go and compare log. If you see what is the first argument we configured the first argument is the price item. You can see this one. From the price we have configured the item. What is the value that is extracted from this profile is a plot screen. And second one, what is the second one we have? Second one is the profile element, process property data. This is what we stored it here. But if you see process property data, what is the value it was keeping? First time the value we are stored here is First time the value got stored here is large screen and then memory. But since all the documents are executing simultaneously, the values are overriding here. Then plot screen, and then what is the last value stored? Memory. If you see, and this process property data is not varied according to your document. Each and every time you are getting the second argument as memory only. And for the next document also, second price book is getting memory, and again where the process property data got memory. And for the third document also we are getting profile component, the price book you are getting 100, but the second argument is keep on static. It is not varying. You can just see the next also. Wherever you are getting, you are always getting the second argument as memory only. This is the problem with here it is. So here you can see when you are doing this one, and this is the problem with the file account, and if you wanted to override and you wanted to make this value as per the document, when you are getting the first document, this value should be flat file. When you are coming the second document, this value should be memory. So because why we are getting here is, when you are running all the documents by default will execute in parallelly. When it is executing parallelly, whatever the last data was there variable, that variable data will be keep on applied in each and every document. So instead of you run all the documents, let's say you have here maybe you have two documents here. You have two documents. And with these two documents, instead of you running the two documents simultaneously, first let's run one document. Let's run one document with all these shapes. And what are the shapes? SFTP and the connector and the data process decision, all this. All the executives, let finish it executing for the one document and then allow your second document. This kind of a behavior will be applied with the shape called flow control, because the flow control is not enabled in our trial account. Flow control is not enabled in trial account. Because of this we are getting this one. So now when we are calculating here, how many documents it went here? Because for one document we are reading the same data. Always the order data it is storing the memory information. The memory is for this two document, for these two items, same file has been read multiple times, so same condition has been applied twice. It means this is the value. This particular document was selected twice. You can see the same over here. You can see what is the source data here. You can see price data will be coming here. Memory, and second document also will be the same. If you want to see the condition what is executing, even you can just go through the logs also. First one, plot screen is coming and the memory. So plot screen is equal to memory, false. Next thing is here you can see the memory, and the second thing is memory. Both are true, condition is true. So this document will be going in this true part. And then other thing is a hard drive. First thing is hard drive. Yes, we are with this hard drive we are able to finish complete price. And then second one we are getting memory, this one false. But because of this data process split, we are same data was executing twice. So because of that, the same memory got true twice. Next time also, you can see you are seeing only 1 to 25 of 48. And click on here, you can see 26 to 48. Here also same condition will be true here. So these two documents it has been processed here. So we have the workaround for this one. So with that will be done with one is the flow control and other one is the caching thing. We don't need to here. What is the problem here is, for one document, this is the SFTP connector. In the real time, the SFTP connectors will be the more consuming resource. It will be connect each and every time it has to connect to remote system and then need to get a file. Why do I need to file each and every time? Can't we read a file one time and load it to the cache, and can we read each and every time do lookups in cache? Instead we look up in the file content here. All these activities will be all these three activities. SFTP connector, data process, decision, each and everything will be replaced in one step called caching. That I'll show you the later part. So now, as of now, we are able to get the two items tag here. wherever here is that here we are getting memory. And now what is the item cost for this, what is the price item for this memory is I got it 10. This is a unit price, but how many units are available this year? 2 units. I wanted to do multiply this one, multiply. So I wanted to multiply. So first thing is a 10, and then I'll be adding the next value here because I'll be getting multiple documents. I'll be adding the 10 again. So in that case, when you can multiply, you can even add it. So when you are keep on getting all the price items, always we have to keep on adding it. Then we'll be getting 10 plus 10, 20. I have to get that result. Let's see how we can get that result in uh, maps. Let's stop this process. Now I have to put, because if you want to do this kind of a calculation where I'll get it all these things in the map. Let's go for map. Click on plus. I'm getting the data in XML data of price. So maybe I wanted to do the same thing. I just wanted, I'm not using this map step for translation of the data. I'm just using this map step for the calculation purpose. So I'm selecting the same data. It doesn't matter whichever I think selected. Now, if I'm getting, okay, here we are not getting actually the item information. See where we will get the quantity information here. Quantity information will be available here. So let's store this quantity also in one of the variables here. Where can I store this quantity information? Since I am getting the price data here, I can store this quantity over here. Let's go here and then add the quantity also here. For this quantity, I need to select the quantity here. So I'll be getting this quantity information also. So with this quantity, let's go this step. So now what I need to do, whatever the quantity I'm getting, I need to multiply this. But if you wanted to go for a number, we have multiply functions, or we can add a functions, or we can have all the functions. But the thing is, here you can select at any point of time only one function. You can add it here. Yes, you can add it any number of functions, but here you cannot able to connect one function output to another function output here. Like you cannot connect. Maybe you can just wanted to add it with 1, and then you wanted to add it to, you wanted to add 1 plus 2, you will get 3. I wanted to connect this result to here. Can't be able to connect it here. You will not able to connect it because I wanted to do some kind of custom logic. I want to build some custom function, but I am not able to do it here. So that's the reason you have to create a custom function. Inside this custom function, you can able to connect each function's output into the next function input. But here in this wizard, we cannot able to connect each and everything. Multiple functions outputs we cannot able. If you want each and every individual function output, we can connect it here. But we cannot connect one function output to another function input and another function input to another function output. We cannot able to achieve this. So for that one, we have to define user-defined function here. So for this one, what I need to do, since I already set a values, I wanted to retrieve a value. How can I retrieve a value? Here is go for properties in map steps. For retrieving a value in properties, we have a get process property. Select the property name that you want to retrieve it. This is the quantity you wanted to retrieve it. Yes, I retrieved the quantity. Next thing is I wanted to retrieve the price, unit price. And then both these two things I need to multiply it. For multiplying, what are the functions we have? Math multiply. This is the one argument. This is another argument. And then I wanted to put the result. So where can I store the result? Even you can store the result. But you have to, if you are using the user defined function, at least you have to define one input. One input. You have to define one input parameter here. Okay, let's say I wanted to tell second. If you don't put any input function here, this function user defined function will not be get executed. And then maybe let's say I wanted to set this property again to store whatever the result I am giving. I want to store this result into variable called this one. Total price I wanted to calculate it here. At the same time, even I am outputting it to the profile also. So even I can connect this output also here. Here what I am doing here, first thing is I have retrieved both the values, the quantity and then price, and then I have done a calculation of multiplication here, and then I set a property here. I stored the same property, the same total result into the variable called total price property called this one. Also I have defined an argument. Means you can just consider entire this function. If you want to take any function's input, you can define an input argument. After you giving all these things, you can use all these number of functions, all these small functions you can use it, and then you can build a complete logic here, and then you can return the value total price here. Let's say like if you are getting some company information. In the company information, maybe you wanted to do validate some of the company information data. You can do all your multiple data validations. Each and every field, like the company you have some validation, and then you have other things like email ID, you need to do some validation. All these validations are succeeded, then only you wanted to retrieve that card, then only you wanted to process that record. Then you can check all your conditions here, and then finally check whether this particular thing is valid or invalid. Based on that, you can filter all your records. So now I am just doing all my calculation, and then finally I am resulting the data to total price here. Let's see if your price you are getting, if your the function is not getting executed, I can map this one, because the price also I am storing same thing. What is this? Calculate price, get price. Save and close. And then I need to add this one. I don't need to these individual functions. So if you see, I have added one user defined function. You can see the function name, you can put anything. Once you put the function here, if you want to check whether it is user defined function or not, click on edit button, you can see the map function here. And then what is the function? It is actually taking input price. What is the output the function is taking? Total price. It doesn't matter what and all how many number of functions are executing inside this one to get this total price. Okay, you can map this price here. Then you can map this item ID here. Maybe you can map this one here. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we can retrieve all the values here. And if you remember, we have set the result into this output parameter as well as a variable also. Even we can monitor both the things here. In case if this function is not calculated, let put this is the value. I want to see what exactly the data is coming to. So you can put any logic inside this user defined function. What happened? Why always this one? This one. Let me just check it. Second value is coming null value. Second value is coming null value. Why anything we have changed it here? Let me just check it. Item ID we check it here. Okay. Oh, sorry. We just the item ID got overwritten here. We have to define one more parameter here. Because when we define a quantity, we just overwrite that value on item ID. For this item ID, I have to take. Now let's run this process. Yes, this time it went. Now you can see whether the value is get or not. So as you can see, the value is 10. 10 into what is the value we got here is the 2. 2 into what is the value for here is 10. 2 into 20. Because we are getting multiple documents, but both are with the same. These are the same. And even you can see the file execution, even map step execution also, how many sequence of steps it executed. Yes, we are using the user defined function called get price map function, and this function basically takes two arguments here. We are using the get process property, and we are using the get process property of quantity. We are getting a 2. Yes, this quantity we store it somewhere here. Here we stored it that one, and then we are retrieving one more property called price. Price we are getting 10. And both have defined, both we are doing a multiplication. What is the output we are getting? Result we are getting 20. And then we are setting this process property again. Since we set the process property, the value is available here. This is the why, and the same I was populating here is I was just retrieving value here. So I can put the message in the message step. So once I put the message step variable data will be sent as a current data. I can be able to see the current data in the next activity. So this is how, because why we are using for just checking what the variable data is coming, why I am using these two steps is, we don't have the trial account, we don't have the notify shape is enabled. If the notify shape is enabled, we can directly configure a notify shape, and we can directly, because notify shape what it will do, notify will write the information, whatever the information you configure and notify, it will write the data to the process log. So we can directly able to see the information in the process log. Because we don't have a notification in the trial account, we are using these two steps to see the data of a variable process property. I think this is all things are really hectic here because all these things are happening is because Boomi did not support the XPath conditions. If I have an XPath condition, I can directly write an XPath condition here. Like how I can write an XPath condition if you are good at XML, I can directly write an XPath, like you can directly want to retrieve the particular value, price book, and then price item, and then I want to retrieve the price. And for this price, when I want to retrieve wherever my condition, like where item ID is equal to memory. If because here we could not able to execute all these XPath expressions. Boomi did not providing all the XPath function. If you are having this XPath, you can directly write this one. It automatically get this value as a 10. Then, if these multiple things are available, you can directly put enter these things in a function called sum. These all XML functions will be there. So you can give this one. This thing will entirely will replace entire these things. The other tools, integration tool, all these XPath support is there. But here we don't have XPath support. That's the reason we are doing all this splitting, repeating, all these things. If you just Google it, there will be some XPath functions will be there. XPath test online. If you just give, you can just put your XML content. Where is your XML content? This is your XML content. Let's remove this one. I don't want to provide this XSD location always. Let's put this entire XML and then just put only this much. You want to retrieve this item ID and then click on evaluate. Where is this? Here. You should get this result here. It's not a number we are getting. So we are not getting this here. Some namespaces are not matched here. If you can write this one, you will be able to get all this exactly this entire. If you can able to execute these XPath expressions, this is, it will be easy for it will be easy to get all these things. But other integration tool have this because the namespaces are there because it's not showing all the namespaces. Let's give some namespaces here. Let's PR. I think you won't understand this one, but if you can just use this prefixes and all PR. Wherever this. Here we should not get all this. Get this one. Wait, I think it's not doing all this, but you'll be able to get all these things in using XPath because all these things are not supported in XPath. You are getting all these things here. Maybe you can use this one somewhere. This one, try it yourself. So we are actually using here the book information here. You see here, we are using this book information. Because you don't have namespaces, it will be pretty easy. So directly trying to get this thing right. Get this thing right. As you can see all this information are getting. What is the XPath we are executing here? They are giving some script, we are executing title. You see title. title. You can see this one, Everyday Italian. You can see Harry Potter. You can see quick query quick starter and learning XML. You can see all these functions output here. Learning XML, Everyday Italian, Harry Potter, and X query quick start. Because if you have this XML capability, it will be very easy to write next part expressions here. I think should get it now. You can see that because the namespace I just removed it because what is given was giving it price book, price item, price was giving because first item it was taken. If you just put here I like item ID equal to export memory. You can see this one here. If you just put this one as a hard drive, you can get. You can just see that one thing. And just start string. You can just see it. Like this, we can execute all your export functions here. Because that Boomi did not support all these export functions, we are doing all these things here. I think some of you are not understand this all whatever I'm showing in the browser. It's okay. You can consult it and you can grab it. Any doubts you can see in the next session. Okay.